Hello and welcome to one and all. So we'll continue with the causes of industrial backwardness in India. So we finished some of the points. So 8 points we have finished, 8 reasons we have finished. So moving on to the 9th reason for the industrial backwardness in our country is the shortage of energy. So energy crisis. Okay. So I mean, it is not peculiar only to India. It's a global economic crisis, energy crisis. But still, the underdeveloped countries are more affected if there is a energy crisis. And on the top of it, we don't have that much sources of power in our country. The sources of power is very limited. That leads to shortage of electricity, and the result is insufficient energy and the rise in fuel cost. So all this increases the cost of production for the industries. So basically, due to limited sources of power in the country, so the industries are facing the shortage of electricity. So industries face shortage of electricity. So it has also resulted in rising fuel costs, power. So whenever there is a shortage, the price will increase, isn't it? So, etc. So all this affecting the industries. And another reason due to which the cost of production has increased has been continuously increasing for the industries is the increase in taxes. So increase in tax rates imposed by the government, as well as the increasing import and export duties imposed by the government on the industries. So that also has resulted in the higher cost of production for the industries. So if the cost of production keeps increasing, that will discourage production. So higher taxes as well as higher import and export duties. Both import duties and export duties have been continuously been increased for the industries, and also taxes. So the government mostly gives benefits more to the tax concessions are given more to the small scale industries, or the other day I mentioned to you, the more smaller an industry is, more concessions are given by the government to those kind of industries. But generally, all the other industries, they face a higher rate of taxes imposed by the government. So that also have increased the cost of production for the industries imposed on. So this also have discouraged their production. And the next reason for their low development is they are finding a limited market for their commodities. So the domestic market is limited because the reason is low per capita income. People are not having, the average income is very low. So people are not able to purchase the different varieties of industrial commodities. On the top of it, if the international market is also very low for the Indian industrial products, because the quality, relatively, the quality of Indian products is considered to be cheap, poor quality. So they are not able to compete with the international products. So because of that, not able to capture the international market also. So the domestic market is limited for most of the industrial products for various industrial products due to, we all know that, low per capita income. Also, since Indian industrial products are considered to be of inferior quality compared to the international standards, our products are considered to be of inferior quality. So we are not able to capture the international market. In inferior quality, our industries are unable to. So finally, what is happening? The market is not widening for the industries. Both the domestic market as well as the international market, both the markets are limited. So unless the market is widened, there will not be any encouragement for them to sell more or to produce more. So unable to capture the international market also. Okay. Then the next important reason is the attitude of the Indian laborers. The attitude of labor. So in India, basically the quality of labor and their attitude towards work, or what you call the spirit of work. When you compare the worker, the category of labor in Britain or China or Japan, they are all very, very hardworking people. Okay, so compared to that, the spirit of work, that kind of spirit is not there in the Indian workers. So they're considered to be lazy. Indian workers are considered to be lazy. Of course, you have people, we have all the high-tech people with huge intelligent people all over the world. But then when it comes to the hardworking thing, Indian laborers are considered to be the laziest labor force. So it is not favorable. And apart from that, we have that bureaucracy in our country. So also the political power or parties, this is a major disadvantage in our country. Use them for their own benefits. So final result is all these are discouraging the industrial production. So all these have discouraged production. And the last problem we have is the defective planning. So the defective planning is arising because the various industrial departments, they don't have proper coordination. So because of that improper coordination, that leads to defective planning. Okay, so there is no proper coordination between the different departments among different departments of industrial sector. So this is leading to improper or defective planning. So this also will lead to rise in the cost of production. So this also has resulted in rising cost of production. So finally you can see that there are more number of reasons for our industries to be in the backward state. Okay, so based on that, some of the suggestions made to improve the conditions, as well as some of the steps taken by the government to improve the industrial output. So then moving on to the next part, suggestions for industrial development. So the first and foremost requirement is suppression of industrial disputes. So most of the time, most of the industries are, their production is affected because of the frequent strikes and lockouts happening in the industrial sector. So that is because of the dispute between the workers and the management. So that has to be reconciled. That has to be rectified by the government. So the government passed an act called as the Industrial Dispute Act. So the government passed the Industrial Dispute Act. So how to solve the problems arising between the workers and the management. So even though the government passed the act as early as in 1947, and it was more emphasized when the government announced the new industrial policy in 1956. So, but then still it is not very sufficient. So in order to, so the basic reason to the government has passed this act is to settle the disputes between the labor and the management, to settle the disputes between the workers and management, between the workers and management. So in fact, the government in the industrial policies starting from 1948 have stressed this fact, that there should be proper policies should be put in place so that there will not be any strikes or lockouts. There will be proper, what you say, the dispute settlement progress, the solution should be provided so that there will be industrial peace in the country. So in the workers and the management, in order to maintain industrial peace, but the problem is, but it is still not very, very effective. It's still insufficient. So what the government has to do, more efforts are needed to strictly follow the policy of, there's something, workers' participation in managerial decisions. So when the government announced the first industrial policy in 1948 and later in 1956 and all, the government made it very clear that the family-oriented businesses will be encouraged, because till then, during when the Britishers were ruling, so very few private sector corporate big houses were there in our country. They're all ruled by it was family-oriented businesses. So the government made it very clear at that point of time, the family-oriented businesses will be discouraged, and it should be based on the elected board of directors, elected body like that. And then whatever the managerial decisions in the board meeting and all, there should be a representative from the workers' side also. So the workers' participation in managerial decisions should be made, should also be made. So in all the industrial policies, the government made it very, very clear. So that is the workers' participation in managerial decisions. And group discussions should be encouraged. So actually, these are all the suggestions made, and the government has been implementing right from the time of announcing the industrial policy resolution as early as 1948, as soon as we attained the independence, in order to develop industrially our country. But still, I mean, it is not very, very successful. Still, so many strikes, lockouts, all those problems are happening, especially in the public sector. Okay, so those points, I mean, those have to be strictly enforced by the government. And whatever the methods, solutions provided in the Industrial Dispute Act to settle the dispute between the workers and the management, how to maintain the industrial, how to reconcile the problems between the workers and the management, they have to be strictly enforced by the government. Okay, then next one is the development of research and technology. So we have seen when I was mentioning about the various causes for backwardness of Indian industries. So some of the reasons we have seen that because of lack of research. So continuous research is required, isn't it? Continuous research is required. Then only one thing you can do, the latest method of technology can be adopted, and new varieties of products, invention can be undertaken. And we have seen that most of the time, the cost of production for the industries keep on increasing. So if we have to reduce the cost of production, so continuous research has to be undertaken so that in the production processes, how in the various production processes can be evolved in such a way that the cost of production can be decreased. So in order to reduce the cost of production, it is necessary to have the continuous research in technology should be undertaken in our enterprise. I mean, all these developed countries, they are undertaking that. But in our country, that continuous research, whatever the amount spent on R&D is very, very less in our country compared to what is being done in the developed countries. So in order to reduce the cost of production, there should be and of course, to introduce new varieties of products, to introduce new latest technology, there should be continuous research should be undertaken in the industrial departments. So continuous research on various production processes. So if the industries are making that continuous research only, the cost of production will keep decreasing. Various production processes. And apart from that, what are all the problems faced by the industries? Industrial problems should be undertaken as is done in developed countries. So this will also reduce the cost of production problem faced by the industries. Okay, then the next major problem which is faced by the industries are in the area of power, isn't it? So obviously, increase in power resources. So the industries need the continuous supply of power. So continuous, and that too quality power. So proper voltage. So continuous 24 hours a day supply of power should be ensured to the supply of quality power. to the industry should be ensured. To the industries should be provided. So how can it be done? Only by expanding the existing power units in the country, and also new power units also have to be set up by the government. Expansion of existing power resources and also taking up new units of power supply. In our country, only agricultural sector is getting the free power supply, but all the other at the cost of all the other sectors in the country. Okay. So industries should also be given the preferences, should also be included in the priority list for the continuous supply of power. Then proper use of natural resources. Industries can survive only if there are proper mineral resources. So in India, even though we have seen several times, even though we are having the abundant natural resources, we are not utilizing it. So the simple solution is, first of all, exploration of those natural resources, and after exploring, make the proper use of the available natural resources. So even though India has abundant natural resources, industrial development is not happening because of improper use of the natural resources. Industrial development is poor due to its improper use. So what has to be done? Exploration and proper use of natural resources should be undertaken for industrial development. Okay. Then the next suggestion is establishment of specialized institutions. So they are specialized institutions in the sense different institutions which are specialized. Industries are facing problems in the area of finance. First and foremost, they are facing the problem in the area of finance. Next, they are facing the problem in training. So all this technology, isn't it? So all those, in order to solve all those problems, so specialized financial institutions in the area of finance, in the area of training, facilities to be provided to the workers. So all those should be undertaken. So more specialized institutions in the areas of finance and highlighted because the most important requirement faced by the industries. Training facilities to the staff members, to the industrial workers, should be established across the country. So in this connection, of course, there are certain specialized financial institutions and the training institutes, established both at the central country level as well as the each and every state government. Some of the state governments have also established their own specialized institutions. See, for example, we are having there is something called as SIDBI, that is Small Industrial Development Bank of India. So this is catering, the name itself says that it is mainly catering to the financial needs of the small scale industries. Then we have other uh, specific financial institutions that catering to the financial needs of the industry, starting with IFCA, that is Industrial Finance Corporation of India, and different state governments, they have started established their own state financial corporation. So these are all the financial institutions. They focus mainly on providing the credit facilities to the industries, only to the industries. And as far as the training facilities are concerned, there are some of the institutes called the Small Industries Service Institute, Small Industries Development Organization, and National Small Industries Corporation of India, and entrepreneurship, something called an Entrepreneurship Development Institute of India. So like that, different specialized financial institutions have been set up in our country, providing both for training facilities as well as for the finance, to meet the financial requirements of the different industries in the country. Okay. And the next one is the efficient system of industrial management. So in order to have the efficient, so there should be appointment of proper skilled managerial personnel in the industry. So skilled and educated and the qualified managerial personnel should be appointed as industrial managers. So they will be able to make the correct decisions, and they will be able to solve all the problems faced by the industries, at least at the managerial level. So in order to do that, so educated and skilled personnel should be appointed as industrial managers to run the organization smoothly. So all the qualified people, all the MBAs, so they all should be appointed as the managers. And the next, encourage capital formation. Of course, this is a long way to go. In order to encourage capital formation, there should be sufficient amount of investment in the country. For the sufficient amount of investment, there should be more and more amount of savings. In order to have more and more amount of savings, the per capita income of the country should increase. Of course, it's a long way to go, but then capital formation of the country should be increased. So more savings and investment should be made available to solve the problem of shortage of funds faced by the industries. Shortage of funds faced by the industries. Okay. So the next, encouragement to the private sector. So our country, already mentioned to you that right from the beginning, as soon as we attained independence, we have been following the mixed economic pattern system. So if the private sector has to supplement the work of the public sector, then the government has to provide more facilities, more incentives to the private sector, so that they will also be encouraged to participate in the industrial development of the country. So what the government has to do, more incentives. So more incentives and encouragement. So in the form of subsidized loan credit facilities, in the form of providing tax concessions or tax holidays should be provided to the private sector. So they will also come forward to develop their own sector, contribute to the industrial production of the country. So more incentives should be provided to the private sector by the government, to the private sector to increase their role in countries' industrial development. And earnings in foreign exchange. So it is not sufficient. The domestic capital is insufficient, isn't it? So the country has to attract foreign investors. So for that, the government has to provide more facilities even to the foreign investor. So then the capital limit will be increased. At the same time, country will be having the required foreign exchange. So in order to, because the domestic capital is insufficient. So in order to tackle the problem of shortage of domestic capital. So when we are having the foreign investors, so we will side by side, we'll be getting the foreign technical advice, the foreign technology, all those will also come along with the foreign capital. So government should attract foreign capital or foreign investors by providing. So in that way, we can have we can get use of the latest technology that is used in the other countries by providing them more facilities. Okay. So this, apart from getting the foreign capital and foreign investment, we will also get the much required foreign exchange for the country. So this would help in establishing new industries, new industrial units, and also in earning, or not exactly earning, more foreign exchange. Okay. And last but not the least, the government should follow the rational taxation policy. So the government should follow the liberal taxation policy to the industries. That is, providing the tax concessions, tax holidays, providing the subsidies to the industrial sector if the industries are especially opened in the backward areas. So all those policies should be followed by the government. So the government should have liberal taxation policy towards industrial sector. So this will definitely motivate them to. So this would motivate them to increase their production. So all these steps will go a long way in increasing the production of industrials in our country, increase their production. Okay, so that's it. These are all the reasons and measures suggested. Of course, most of the measures are also have been undertaken by the country. Okay, and next topic we are having is the industrial policy resolutions. Okay, that is supposed to be one of the most important topic for your from the board exam point of view for the 10 marks as well as the 5 marks, which I will continue in my next class. Okay, so if you find this video useful, please like, share, and also subscribe to my channel so that you will not miss any topics. So until my next class, take care. Bye bye.